Artificial intelligence is changing the way we screen for cancer, not just in labs but in hospitals and clinics worldwide. In Japan, a startup has figured out how to turn your own muscles into a remote control for humanoid robots. And up in space, NASA is using OWL to predict solar storms that could otherwise fry satellites and mess with the GPS and communication. First, let's talk about AI cancer detection. As we all know that cancer is one of the biggest health challenges of our time. Every single year, about 20 million people around the world get diagnosed, and nearly 10 million die. 1 in 5 people alive today will face cancer at some point in their lifetime. Studies show that somewhere between 30 and 60% of cancers are only discovered when they've already reached a later stage. In cervical cancer, the late detection rate is around 61%. Across several other types, the average is roughly 33%. The later it's caught, the tougher it is to treat and the lower the chances of survival. That's why early detection technology isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical. Now, to understand how artificial intelligence became such a powerful tool for cancer detection, we've got to rewind a bit. A researcher named Yann LeCun created something groundbreaking, LeNet. It was one of the very first convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, that could actually recognize images on its own. Think about the challenge at the time. Banks and post offices had mountains of handwritten numbers on checks and letters. Computers couldn't read them reliably, because older methods depended on manually programmed rules. They were clunky, slow, and inaccurate. Convolutional neural networks start with raw pixels, just grids of numbers. The first layers pick out tiny patterns like dots and edges. Filters then slide across the image, creating feature maps that highlight lines and textures. Activation functions act like gates, letting useful signals through while blocking noise. Pooling shrinks maps to simplify things, and stacking many layers builds a hierarchy, from edges, to curves, to full shapes. Stride and padding control movement and detail, while color channels add depth by combining red, green, and blue patterns. At the end, all features flatten into connected layers that reason about what they've seen. A softmax layer then makes the final choice, turning scores into probabilities, 90% cat, 8% dog. Training refines everything. The network makes guesses, compares them to answers, and improves through backpropagation. With tricks like dropout to avoid overfitting, CNNs become powerful tools, able to recognize faces, read handwriting, and even detect diseases. Let me explain what is backpropagation, which sounds scary but really isn't. Think of it like practicing free throws in basketball. You take a shot, you miss, and the coach tells you if it was too short or too far. Next time, you adjust just a little and try again. CNNs do the same thing. They make a guess, check how far off they were, then send that mistake signal backwards through the network so each layer can make tiny corrections. Do this millions of times, and the system goes from clumsy guesses to laser-sharp accuracy. Once a CNN proves itself in trials, it doesn't just sit in a lab. Companies like Siemens Healthineers, GE Healthcare, Path AI, and Page integrate them into real-world tools. Say a doctor uploads a mammogram, AI scans it instantly, highlights areas that look suspicious, and the radiologist gets a second set of eyes. The decision is still human, but the machine can point out things the eye might miss. It's a collaboration, not a replacement. Nowhere is this shift more urgently needed than in Southeast Asia. This region has rising cancer cases with limited resources. Many people live hours away from big hospitals, modern imaging machines are expensive, and there just aren't enough trained radiologists. That means too many cancers are only caught when they're already advanced. Here the AI could flip that script. Researchers at Harvard Medical School, the University of Copenhagen, and their partners trained an AI system on nearly 9 million patient records from both Denmark and the US. They wanted to see if AI could find patterns in routine medical records that might reveal who is most at risk for pancreatic cancer. The results were remarkable. The AI tool identified people at high risk up to 3 years before they were actually diagnosed. And it did this using just medical records, no special scans, no invasive tests. That's powerful because it means AI could help doctors decide who should get more advanced screening or testing before symptoms even appear. Instead of testing everyone with expensive, invasive procedures, AI helps pinpoint the people who need it most. That makes care more efficient, less stressful for patients, and ultimately more effective. The big takeaway is that AI isn't just about reading scans or assisting radiologists, it's showing us who's at risk before disease even starts to show itself. If applied at scale, tools like this could transform how we approach aggressive cancers, finding them earlier, treating them sooner, and giving patients a fighting chance at survival. Now, let's switch gears to robotics. In Japan, a startup has developed a system that lets you control humanoid robots with nothing more than your muscles. No VR headset, no joystick, not even a brain implant. The secret is electromyography. When you move your muscles, tiny electrical signals run through them. Special sensors called electromyography pick up those signals on your skin. An artificial intelligence then reads the signals instantly and figures out what motion you meant to make. It sends that command to the robot, so if you flex your arm, the robot flexes too. To keep everything smooth and not shaky, the AI cleans up the noisy parts of the signals before passing them on for a smooth, natural motion. The most immediate applications are in rehabilitation. Stroke patients or people recovering from injuries can use robots that amplify their weak signals, helping them rebuild muscle memory. But this tech goes further. In disaster zones, responders could remotely control humanoids to clear debris. On factory floors, workers could guide robots to handle repetitive or dangerous jobs without being exposed themselves. And in space exploration, astronauts might one day operate robots outside their habitat just by flexing their muscles from inside a safe base. Of course, there are risks, signal errors, interference, or hacking, but the vision is clear. Robots won't just replace us, they'll extend us. Sensors are already shrinking, some no bigger than stickers, making them easy to wear. Could even help with simple household tasks, guided by subtle muscle movements. At work, humans and robots may collaborate side by side, each complementing the other. But progress must be balanced with ethics, protecting safety, privacy, and trust. Our muscles becoming the remote control for new possibilities. Electromyography and AI are giving humans and robots a new language of movement, letting us act as one. Finally, let's head to space. While auroras are breathtaking, the solar storms that cause them can wreak havoc on satellites, GPS, and power grids. That's why NASA has been working with the Frontier Development Lab in California since 2016. Pairing space scientists with AI experts to tackle problems like planetary defense and heliophysics. One of the big partners is KX Systems, known for its lightning-fast database software KDB+, originally built to track stock market shifts. Between 2017 and 2019, NASA and KX trained algorithms on ionosphere data, solar activity logs, and magnetic field measurements to see if they could forecast space. First, they feed AI massive datasets, things like solar flare activity from the sun, ionosphere measurements that track how Earth's upper atmosphere reacts, and magnetic field readings that show disturbances in space around us. On their own, these are just streams of numbers. But when AI analyzes millions of them together, it starts spotting hidden patterns, warning signs humans would miss. The result? AI models that could predict disruptive solar events up to 24 hours in advance. That's a full day's warning for satellite operators to adjust systems and prevent costly outages. And the benefits didn't stop in space. NASA and KX built AI models to predict solar storms, because those storms can damage satellites and power grids. But later, KX realized the same approach could help on Earth. Instead of tracking space weather, the AI looked at factory machines, things like vibrations, heat, and wear. Just like it could spot early warning signs in space, it could now spot early signs that a machine might break down. That means companies can fix equipment before it fails, saving money and keeping production running smoothly. What started as space science ended up making everyday manufacturing more reliable. Artificial intelligence isn't just some abstract tech buzzword anymore, it's showing up in real places. Different stories, one theme: artificial intelligence isn't just running in the background anymore. It's becoming a partner that extends our abilities, protects our infrastructure, and saves lives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.